My name is Greenfield. I'm an environmental activist, and my basic mission is to get people thinking, to critically think, and to question the world around them, and hopefully make positive changes to live in a way that's more beneficial to the earth that we live on, our communities that we're a part of, and ourselves as individuals. Everything in the entire world that I own is right here in this bag, about 50 possessions, and this is the product of really many years of simplifying my life, of realizing that I didn't need so much to be happy and healthy. And this is years of work of becoming present in the moment and creating my self-worth on who I am, not what I own. I guess for me, I think some people look at what I'm doing and they see it as extreme, which I know that it is. I designed my life to be extreme. But at the same time, I look at my life as pretty basic common sense. I look at the state of the world that we're in, the state of humanity, the state of the millions of species that we share the earth with and our ecosystems. And to me, it's basic common sense that we take care of the world we live on and we take care of each other. In the past, the world was a seemingly infinite place. I like to think about how in the past, the explorers of the world, if they wanted to try to circumnavigate the globe, the most likely scenario was death. To try to travel around the world most likely meant you were going to die. Now, if you have a credit card and 48 hours of free time, you can fly around the world while watching TV and getting fatter. We now know that this world is an incredibly, incredibly small place, and that humanity, we're all neighbors. Even though people seem so far away on the other side of the world, the actions that we have today, through our material possessions, through our technology, through almost everything that we do, is interacting with our global neighbors. And to me, I mean, this, as far as we can tell, is the only earth that we have. So to me, all of this is just common sense. Let's not destroy the very earth that we live on, and let's take care of each other. The exact number of my possessions varies from day to day. I'm given little gifts here, or I lose things. I guess to start with, what's not in the bag is the clothes that I'm wearing. I have 8 items of clothing on, and then the rest of my clothes all fit into this bag right here. So I have 4 shirts. They're all the same shirt except one's long sleeve and the rest are short sleeve. I have 2 pairs of shorts, and then 2 pairs of underwear, one that I'm wearing, 2 pairs of socks right now, a pair of sandals, a pair of pants, a wool sweater, and then this is my bag that I put all of the clothes inside. So some people have giant closets of clothes. You could call this my closet, I guess. It all fits packed into this bag. This is one of my most important possessions. It's basically a bowl. I can use this for going out to eat, but I can also use it as a to-go container, or it's a pot, so I can also cook with it, whether I'm camping or in someone's house. And so a big part of my life is trying to not create trash to leave behind for future generations and fill landfills. So by having this allows me to take home leftovers and such. So I try for everything that I have to be multi-purpose. I have made fried acorn grubs in here. So I harvested grubs from acorns and I fried them actually in fat that I made from deer. So fried acorn grubs in deer fat, and I shared them with the people that I was with, and most people were a little hesitant to try them, but they're delicious. Now that I'm traveling, one of the most important things is a good night's rest. So I have a travel pillow, just to be able to get in a nap on the train or even in the park. I have another bag inside my bag, and this is so that I don't have to take everything with me everywhere I go, and this can be used for grocery shopping and things like that. I have some tea, which is loose leaf tea, which for me is really important just to take care of my health. Someone gave me this in Germany. And then to go along with this tea, I have a strainer so that I can drink the tea without having to eat the leaves. Chamomile tea is my favorite tea to have a nice relaxation before going to bed. Okay, one of the most important things is personal hygiene, and I try to practice very natural hygiene. I don't have a lot of chemical things I'm putting onto my body, and I don't believe that I need all these different things like deodorant and shampoo and conditioner and different facial washes and everything. So I don't have very much. I have my toothpaste, which is a natural toothpaste that is all natural ingredients, so I could actually spit this out and it wouldn't harm the plants. The same goes for my soap. I have a refillable bottle, and this soap is plant-based and biodegradable. I have a body butter for moisturizing. I stay in noisy places, so I have earplugs. And then I also have dental floss. And then I have essential oil. So this is lavender, and this helps me sleep. And then I have 2 other essential oils, and these are, I'm actually have a bit of a cold right now, so these ones really help with opening up the sinuses. So that would be a form of natural health care, natural preventative health care. Of course, there's my toothbrush. And then the last things would be my pair of scissors, which I use for many things, but also trimming my hair. I have fingernail clippers, which this is one thing I don't need because I only use fingernail clippers like once every week or 2, so I could always ask somebody, but I really like to be able to clip my nails when I want right away. So this is one possession that I just really like to have and would be uncomfortable not having. And then this is another possession, and this is a handheld razor. I've had this razor for about 4 years now, and today a lot of electronics are designed for the dump. They're designed with planned obsolescence to break. I've only had this for 4 years, but I think this is about a 40 or 50-year-old razor. I could probably use this my entire life. This has been around for much longer than I've been alive, most likely. So to go along with my pot or my bowl, I also have a spoon. And a lot of minimalists will show you all these cool things like bamboo forks and spoons and things like that. But for me, this costs 25 cents at a secondhand store. We don't need to spend $15 on a set of utensils when we can just get it at the thrift store. Not to say that those things aren't valuable and meaningful, but for me it's about just simplicity. Also, if I lose this spoon, it's not special. I can just go get another one. I have my water bottle. I have a hand towel. I have a few other things in here that I don't count as possessions that I own. I don't consider myself to own food. So I have garlic, ginger, and turmeric, which are natural medicines that I use. Natural whole foods that can keep me healthy. All of these are antibacterial and antimicrobial. And for me, I just have this and I just munch it throughout the day. And it's quite strong. I also eat garlic, but not right before I'm going out on a date because that's a little strong. I have my computer. And then on this there's a sticker, and this sticker counts as one of my about 50 possessions. This says, "We must be the change we wish to see in the world," and that's just a nice reminder. It also covers up the logo because I don't like to market for brands, so it serves the sticker, as most things, serves multiple purposes. The computer also has a charger, and that counts as one more possession. And then also headphones. So these are currently the only electronics that I own. And this is the only plug that I have, which is just, it's nice. I mean, I've spent a lot of my life charging so many different devices, and to have just one device is a nice, simple life. The purpose of this is not about the 50 possessions in itself, although I'm sharing these possessions. It's about the philosophy behind it. It's about what it allows. It's about the way of living life. So a lot of people would look at this and they would think that maybe this is a way of missing out or giving up and then feeling empty inside because I've given everything up. But the idea is actually the opposite. Most of the things that we have today are really actually filling holes in our lives, and those holes are often wanting a deeper connection with other people, wanting to have more purpose in life, wanting to feel more passionate. And so for me, what I've done is I've removed all the extraneous things from life so that by living simply, I have the time and the energy to focus on what it is that I really want. And for me, what I'm really passionate about is inspiring other people and helping other people to live in a more sustainable, happy, and healthy way. So what I'm showing here, actually largely it's about what I don't have, but what I don't have is about what I do have. And what I do have is freedom. I have time. I have an independent voice. I don't have to be so focused on what other people are thinking because I've kind of been able to step outside of those societal norms. This computer here is an interesting element of it because this is one possession, well actually it's 3 possessions, but it connects me to so much. Right now, this computer's off and I don't have a cell phone, so this means that I'm fully present in this moment. Nobody in the entire world can reach me, and I can't reach anyone else in the world except the people that I'm with right now, which is for me a deep form of presence that I've been striving for a really long time. It's very difficult to be present in the world we live in today, where we have all these companies wanting our money and wanting us to, pay attention to them, and thousands of different media outlets. So for me, by not having a cell phone and by being able to turn this thing off and not be connected, but instead actually be connected to my surroundings, that's what allows me to be balanced and to be connected. So as much as I would love to spend my time in the woods, communing with nature, and actually that's something I'm feeling at this moment, I would just love to just be hiking and just drinking from the rivers and just living that truly deeply simple life. As much as I'd love to do that, that's not really why I'm on earth. I am here to help people connect to that and to connect to the fact that they are complete and that they don't need these corporations and these societal norms to be complete people. And the hopes of by creating complete people is that they can then focus on service to others, service to the other species that we share the earth with, service to humanity overall. So for me, I have very much a love for life. I find life to be deeply meaningful, although I don't know necessarily what the purpose of life is. In the confines that we live, I find life to be really meaningful, and I really value it. So for me, I just don't want to see life be destroyed. And I want to live in a world ideally where there's more justice and equality, where we have access to our basic needs. Because the reality is we live in an advanced society, and I think that in this advanced society we can live in a way where everybody has their basic needs met. So that's why I spend my time in cities, and that's why I do these extreme things, so that I can reach people and inspire that change to hopefully instigate those thoughts and turn that into action of living in a way that's more just, more equal, and more sustainable. Well, the interesting thing about this is this connects me with the world, this computer, but it also disconnects me from the world, because often I end up sitting alone in a room looking at this thing. So this right here is both one of my most important tools and my kryptonite at the same time, because behind this technology is the destruction that we don't see. Technology is one of the ways that we cause the most destruction to the world, but at the same time, it's one of the most beautiful ways that we create education, and we, cross those boundaries and we connect people. So this is a very, very interesting part of my life. Part of me loves it and loves the way that I'm able to use this as a tool, and part of me every day wants to get rid of it and never touch a computer for as long as I live. If I was living purely for myself, right now I would get rid of this thing and I would live without any technology. But that's the thing. We don't live in a time where we can just do that. There's other things that are more important than going and being in the woods without this computer. So I have a book. I always am carrying one book, and when I finish that book, I swap it out. And so my books are generally always teaching me about important issues. Fast Food Nation. That's that one. Okay, I have a notebook for writing, and then I carry a pen as well, and then I have in here somewhere my birth certificate, which is kind of a weird thing to be carrying around, and my passport. So I have 2 forms of identification, no driver's license, and the reason I have this is because with these 2 forms of identification, if I should choose to, I can go back into society and get any other form of identification like a driver's license. My dream is to one day burn both of these things and live without a form of identification, because my goal is just to, as much as possible, just be a human without the need for papers to prove who I am. But for now, I'm still in this system. As much as I've removed myself, I still am in the system. And then the very last thing is my money. So I have no bank account or credit card, no savings, no retirements, no money invested anywhere. This is all the money that I own, and it's about $5,000. And it's all here. This is just my physical possessions, my material possessions. But the whole idea of having less possessions is so that I can, again, focus on what really matters. And what matters to me is people. And what matters to me is my interactions with people and how my life influences them. And so the goal of my life is to have real life changes in people and in society. And most of that you can't measure and you can't see. And for me, you know, by living this life and really stepping outside of societal norms and being an example, it's created a community of people. Everywhere that I go around the world, there are friends that I either know or that I haven't met yet. What keeps me motivated and alive is the fact that through my way of living, I'm able to actually be present with people around the world and have a positive impact on them. So none of that is necessarily physical possessions, but that's life. I mean, I guess you could call that your legacy. Some people make legacies through skyscrapers and monuments, and my legacy would be just by increasing the quality of life of people and happiness and health. That would be, you know, my legacy. Are people happier and healthier because of their association with me? If the answer is yes, then I've left a good legacy. So some people look at my life and they just jump right to this idea that I'm a freeloader, that because I don't have stuff, that must mean that I'm just dependent upon other people. And yes, I am dependent on other people. That's the point. We're all dependent upon one another. Now, the thing is, the monetary system that we've created has allowed us to believe that we are independent from one another. When we can just take money, we can give this to somebody and we can get whatever we need or whatever service we need. It allows us to think that we don't need anyone, that we can just work hard, do our job, and we're not dependent upon anybody else. But now, it's 2020, and we now know we are completely dependent and connected upon each other. When we pass over that money, it allows us to cause destruction to people, to other species, and to our ecosystems without ever having to think twice about it. So for me, what I'm trying to do is fully embrace my dependence upon humanity and do it in a way where it actually gets people to think about this idea of independence. I think independence is a complete delusion, and I think that people, if they really started to pay attention to the details of their interaction, maybe even walk outside for one day without money, they would start to see that they are dependent upon their community, they're dependent upon the millions of species that we share this earth with, and that our community today is 7 or 8 billion human beings that we're totally dependent upon. I don't think we'll ever have successful communities unless we actually become dependent upon each other. All the most successful communities that exist on Earth exist not because people are able to be independent of each other, but because they need each other. If we need each other, we will take care of each other. If we need the forests and the oceans and the lakes surrounding us, we will take care of it. But if we live in a world where we don't believe that we need other people, and we don't need the other species, and we don't need our ecosystems, then we will destroy them. So me choosing to fully embrace my dependence on this is designed to be a wake-up call to help people realize that you need you need people, you need the other species, and you need the ecosystems. Without them, you can't exist. I can relate completely to people because I did used to live a different lifestyle where I was very focused on material possessions and financial wealth and how people perceived me. I mean, that's how I designed my whole life. My clothing, my car, my apartment. Most of my actions were designed based on materialism and how people would perceive me. And I still remember that. So I'm able to understand that basically what most people are trying to do is meet their basic needs, and often the needs of their families as well. To be comfortable, to be happy, to be healthy, to be loved, to feel, you know, a sense of belonging and purpose. And we've been taught through society, most of our Western societies, that the way to do that is through financial success, through having a nuclear family where it's the mom and the dad and the children, and by having a shiny car and a big house. But we know that that's not true anymore. I think a lot of us bought into that idea, but now millions of people are waking up and realizing, well, actually no, we can gain deep purpose and passion through having a basic connection to the earth and to other people, and we don't need any of these things that corporations are trying to sell to us in order to have that connection. Since I woke up 10 years ago, I can say that millions of people woke up around the same time as me and during that time. So a lot of people feel alone today. You know, a lot of people who care about environmental issues and humanity, they feel very alone. But that might be because they don't really talk about it and they don't really connect in their community, because what I've seen is that millions of people do care, and it doesn't matter where you are. I think one of the reasons that so many people are waking up is because the time has come. Things have caught up. In the past, the way we designed our systems, we had not yet seen the implications of that. So it wasn't that long ago that the world still seemed like an infinite place, and that we could just consume and consume and consume with no negative repercussions. But in my generation and the last generation, things caught up with us. So now a lot of us are waking up because we're forced to wake up. We're realizing that this can't go on forever. And then other of us aren't forced yet because we live very privileged lives, but now the knowledge exists when it wasn't readily accessible in the past. So the documentaries, the books, the information on social media and the websites now exists for us to wake up to the realities of our actions. And I think a lot of people have been waking up with a pit in their stomach and going to bed depressed for the last decades. And now they're realizing that they don't have to do that anymore, because they are now learning that there's a different way of doing things where they can actually feel good about life. And I think ultimately that's what people want. They want to be able to feel good about their actions and how they affect the world. And that's what drives me. I'm not altruistic or selfless at all. I'm simply trying to navigate this world and live in a way where I can feel truly good about my life, and I can die knowing that I didn't screw everyone else over in order for me to have my health and happiness, but I instead actually was able to lift others up at the same time as lifting myself up.